Good evening. How are you? Well, I'm back from Baltimore, and it's beautiful out. A little chilly, but it's really nice out. The things that strike me today are old stories that we've been following with new developments. I would take, for example, Congresswoman Green, who can't recall that she supported martial law and thought that that would be a good thing for Trump to do, seeing as how he legitimately lost the presidential election. And she said a number of things about and against Biden and so forth. And this all revolves around whether or not she should be on the ballot, because Article 14, Section 3 of the Constitution provides if you take an oath of office and then you betray that oath by supporting the overthrow of the government, you can be barred from public office forever. Something entirely appropriate in her case. And the fact finders will make recommendation to the Secretary of State in Georgia, and then we'll see what he does. By the way, he is the same Secretary of State who was present when President, then Trump, said, "Can't you just give me all the votes that Biden had plus one so that I win?" So that's the fellow that's going to be looking at the Green matter. I've beaten to death, I suppose, the fact that we do not have an attorney general who's interested in prosecuting the most important historic crime against our republic ever. And he should be run out of office. He's such a waste. And I wish Biden would take notice of that there. But having criticized Biden for his impassivity and for Garland for being inert, I'd like to turn to a development involving Biden that I very much support. Biden, he has taken a while to find his voice about Ukraine, but he's found it now. And there are two steps that I thought were significant. One was that I thought I dropped something. One was that he called Putin a war criminal, and Putin pushed back, but Biden didn't blink, and that's important. His staff pushed back, and Biden said, "No, I meant it. I meant what I said." And that said a lot about him. Not that we didn't think he had it in him, but this was a strong development. This was our commander-in-chief taking on the role of commander-in-chief. And then when we saw what happened in Bucha, he basically accused Putin of war crimes, but also of genocide. So we have this very strong statement. Then we had our Secretary of Defense, Austin, pull together 40 nation states and cemented what they'd already begun, which is a joint force to fight in Ukraine by supplying military material that makes it possible. And then Biden, in the Teddy Roosevelt room with the Rough Rider on a painting behind him, said that we are going to move forward. He found his voice, in my opinion. He won't cave into the aggression of Russia. That's what he said in his statement. This is similar to and different than what Franklin Roosevelt, a different Roosevelt, did with Lend-Lease, because he couldn't get the support of the Americans. And he didn't want to commit outright war crimes, but what he did was he loaned the necessary equipment to the Allies and leased it to them, and they paid for it. We're doing a similar thing. So we have Biden taking on the role of commander-in-chief, and I like very much what he's doing with Russia, because what can there be as a solution for that tragedy? And I don't think anything short of winning can. Now, there may be other things and they'll develop as the war theater continues. But I think it's very important what Biden has said and done, and that we're devoting the material to do it. And on the political side, it is important if you have a commander-in-chief active at the time of an election. Voters are very reluctant, as the saying goes historically, to change horses in midstream. And yes, he's not up in the midterms, But his ability to wage this war, if you will, even if we're standing behind the Ukrainians, although I would think we're on the ground in some other undeclared way, is the kind of thing that can help Democrats. If Democrats realize that this is about having a president and a government that stands for democracy and stands for democracy in the Ukraine as well as at home. Finally, Holly is working on a recovery. She walks daily. She's eating to get her strength back. She's dealing with the pains and surprises that come with a double lung transplant. And think about it. When you have this transplant of the lungs, you're also tying the heart into that network. It's an amazing operation. It's a scientific miracle. So thanks again for all of you who are supporting Holly and I. I, as a supporter for Holly's recovery, my courageous girlfriend. So all the best. Talk to you tomorrow or the next day. Bye-bye.